Okay, we got it cleaned up here. Hit it with the power washer. It's not perfect, but it's clean enough. Getting ready to start installing the new slave cylinder here. Just hit it with the power washer, a couple minutes with the leaf blower, and it looks pretty good compared to what it was. So let's get started. I don't know if you can hear them in the background, but I'm watching Junkyard Digs and Thunderhead 289. Holy smokes, this thing's plastic. Weird. Let's take a look at that seal. Some stink bugs in there. Everything else looks pretty good though. Then you have to get in there with a rag and dry it out though. Okay. Got the new slave cylinders in. That was pretty easy. A lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Now we're going to pop the top off here and make sure everything is okay there. Alright, voiceover time. That blue ring in the inset is half of the brand new shifter bushing. There's two rings like that. The shifter has a ball on the end and it gets sandwiched between those rings, and that's what gives it the stability within the vehicle to keep it from flopping around, while at the same time giving it the range of motion it needs to move through the gears. So when that broke, I thought it dropped plastic into the transmission. And I also needed to reconnect the fifth reverse lever that's in the back there. So I'm putting the transmission through all its gears. Those silver rings are where your shift forks ride. Just putting it through all the gears, making sure there's no plastic in there, make sure there's no plastic wedged in there anywhere. I didn't find anything except for in that yellow tray to the right. There were some plastic pieces that I fished out of there. Other than that, the transmission looked great. It was very clean in there. I did not see any plastic down in the bottom at all. I was kind of surprised by that.
Chime in here that knows Mopars, but typically you don't see a bunch of engine paint on the valve train. That's all overspray from someone painting it up really quick. It was starting to get the 8 more years, it would have been gone. Yeah, it's close. Alright, usually I like to use a rubber mallet for this gently, but we don't have it. Yeah, we have this brass mallet, so just gotta be careful.
Alright, everything actually looks pretty good. Went through all the gears. I don't see any large chunks of plastic in there. Hopefully it's alright. What had happened was this bolt here. Oh, okay. This bolt right here sheared off, and that connects to your fifth and reverse lever up here. There it is. So this was all wobbly around, and I basically got it stuck in fifth gear when the shifter bushing broke. All right. Now we're going to tip it up and start working on the transfer case. Here's where the transfer case goes on the end of the transmission. Got to get all that gasket stuff cleaned off. So we'll be back when I get that cleaned off. All right. Got that surface all cleaned up pretty good. Need a new gasket. I'm going to start working on the transfer case here. The gasket I ordered, of course, does not fit, so we'll have to figure out how to find the one we need. Well, that looks pretty good. Alright guys, we got the transfer case cleaned up. The drain plug is behind this balancer here, so I had to pop that off, drained it out. It was looking pretty dirty, pretty dark colored. So got that done. Now we're ready to put it on the transmission, so I'll get you set up and let you watch that fiasco. Okay, got the transmission set up, ready to put the transfer case on. I couldn't find a gasket to go between the transmission and the transfer case, and I had some gasket material laying around, so I just kind of traced it out and made my own. You can get this material at AutoZone or Advanced Auto or probably any auto parts store. But I had some of this, remembered I had some of this laying around, so I just traced my own. It doesn't have to be that spectacular because there's no fluid contained in here. It's mostly just to keep dirt and grime out, which once you apply the RTV there and the gasket, this should do a good enough job. I mean, it's what was on there before, so I'll go ahead and get the RTV on there and get the gasket situated, and then I'll turn you back on. Alright, got the RTV on there. I'm not sure you need the actual gasket, but this is the way it was done when I took it apart, so this is the way it's going back together. Yeah, so we'll see if we can get this on there. Alright, you're supposed to leave it like that for an hour and then tighten it to torque. So I'll just leave it like that. You know, it really doesn't make much sense. I'm not sure why it was done like that, but that's exactly the way it was done. You got RTV, then the gasket, then the transfer case sitting on it. So I could theoretically take the transfer case back off and leave the gasket and RTV right there. So I don't know what the logic was behind that, but that's the way it was done when I took it apart, so that's the way I'm putting it together. So. Not sure what to think about that, but there it is. I'm going to start working on the shield, get that cleaned up. That goes behind the flywheel, between the flywheel and the engine. So I'm going to get that cleaned up now. I've got the new clutch kit for it, and flywheel's been turned and cleaned up, so ready to start reassembling that part now.